Leah was here first. This is Leah Rich.
Well, I have a problem with, out in front of my house, they're grading the road, crowning it to the point where it's making a curb in front of my driveway. I actually measured it and I brought pictures. My curb is 7 to 8 inches. The city curb down here is 5 to 6 inches. So I'm jumping the curb to drive in and out of my driveway. It needs to be addressed.
That's Gilmat Road, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No, Scott's our road. Are you finished? Do you want him to answer now?
Go
Or?
ahead.
No, I didn't really realize it was a problem that you were,
Well, I called you on Thursday and asked you to come and look at it.
yeah, I didn't get a chance to do it. What you're worried about is how you're jumping up into your driveway is the issue?
I'm driving over a curb each and every time I go in and out of my
Well,
driveway.
I know there's a rise there.
There never was before. It was level before.
Well, over the years, it's definitely changed. You know, the gravel and stuff gets plowed out. The grader works it out. If it's an issue and, you know, want something changed there, we can go up and add some gravel. And I know what you mean. The corners bank, you want a Daytona bank back in it where you're getting fill on your side of the road to make the water basically run to the mailbox side of the road.
The other problem with it is because the water is running down the road, because there's no ditch there, it's washing it out. So it's making what you've done even deeper. So if you look,
Well,
I actually brought pictures of, there's washout right there.
There's never really been a ditch on that section for years. There's a culvert, I think, buried in your driveway, back in quite a ways away from the road, because the road is actually creeked.
The culvert was
Towards the
exact
mailbox.
line with the other culvert, with the Martin's culvert.
Mhm.
It's always been there. There's always been a ditch there.
We can go out and dig it out, and we'll probably end up putting down on the lower end where it meets their culvert. We may end up having to put some stone line ditch in there or something. If it's much of a grade, we have to put stone in the bottom of the ditches to stop erosion.
That's your department, whatever it needs to be done. I can't be jumping a curb to get in and out of my driveway.
Well, I know it jumps up there, yeah. I understand. We'll see what we can do.
Alright. Thank you very much.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
or Miss Dr. Martin and or.
I will speak. I'm actually, I think we've overrepresented Gilmet Road here.
You're fine.
We're Miss Lee's neighbors, and we have a problem with water running from her property into ours.
Her meaning
Miss
Leah.
Rich, I'm sorry.
Okay, we need to know.
And this has been an ongoing problem for about the last 2 or 3 years. The water that's coming over is toxic. It was tested at over 2,900 parts per million for E. coli bacteria, which is animal waste. Actually, the test only goes up to 2,900 parts per million, so it exceeded that. And the safe number for E. coli bacteria is less than 79. So this is an extreme problem. It's basically toxic. Miss Bridge either modified or changed something in her backyard, which now, when the water runs through her yard, causes it to run onto our yard. It's killing plants. It's dangerous to our dogs. It threatens to seep into our water supply, which, if that happens, basically makes our property of almost zero value.
Unlivable.
Yeah,
Do you have a spring or a well?
ours is a well. And so far it's tested negative, but that can change at any time. We're looking for some sort of city resolution to this. It affects the city because I believe part of the job of the select board is to ensure peaceful and nice living.
Amiable.
Yes, thank you. edgy.
Or edgy, yes, or edgy.
So we want edgy living here.
There you go.
So that's part of the problem. And the other part is, again, I don't mean to put Ms. Rich on trial here, but she has animals that trespass upon our property, which is one thing, and that it doesn't really involve the city, but they also trespass into the road, which is a city problem, and creates a safety problem as well. So I don't know what regulations exist here.
I'm gonna tell you in a minute.
Okay, and if there are some, I would like to figure out how best to do it.
So far, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, so far we've had the water and sewer guys did the testing on it, and they found that the E. coli was very high. So the state, environmental, wasn't it?
Right.
Came up and checked their property. They referred it to the Department of Agriculture, who I believe, I don't know, I haven't heard from them, have come up as well recently. I did hear from them, actually. They're throwing it back to the town.
Right.
Which it's been a holiday weekend, you have to forgive me, but I did look in the statutes, and there is a nuisance law, which, if it applies to the town, which I have to find out,
Right.
would be covered for any animals going on your property, doing damage to your property, whatever. You're gonna have to give me tomorrow to really study it and talk to somebody about it, but I did find it on Friday,
Okay.
and I skimmed it, but I was doing other things, so and then John, have you got anything about this property? Did you send something? Last week, didn't we approve something
Yes, I turned it over to the attorney
for,
For-
what reason,
for the zoning violations of trash and,
on that same property?
yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? or-
I'd like to
Yeah.
address if that's
Sure.
okay.
Sure.
Can we do one item at a time?
Sure.
The water is the same problem we've had all along. I pointed out to Mr. Martin before he purchased the property. This is water that comes runoff from the town ditch, runs through my property, runs through my septic system, through my manure pile, and onto his property. It didn't do that before. This farm's been there 150 years. It has never leached over. Hibdo had a garden right where he now has a quagmire. It's all because of the water coming out of the ditch. I've called, had you guys come up and look at it, been down here and complained about it before. I do not add a drop of water. I have a shallow well. I don't spend a single drop of water, I don't have to. I haven't added any water, we have not moved any dirt. We brought in some dirt in front of our barn to bring it up so I'm not standing in mud, and that's it. The water that's the issue is coming from the town road. I'd be glad to have a ditch in front of my house. I've begged to have a ditch in front of my house so the water would run the appropriate channels. It comes up to the edge of my property, turns in, goes down to the Martins, and then they start ditching again. So I'm the only piece of property in that stretch that's not ditched. So the water has nowhere to go but flow through my lawn and into the Martins.
Okay, can I stop you?
It's
Scott,
actually,
go.
it's actual uphill. The way the water comes off in that mountain, comes down as a little pond-like thing right next to what used to be Charlie Fitchman's, which is Jessica and
Charles
is
Gervais.
it Charlie now?
Yeah.
The water sits in that little pond. It runs through their driveway culvert that goes to their garage and house, I guess. The house, they access it through that one driveway. Runs along the side of the road, and then because of the grade of the ground, it goes down in, which would be south or to the right, down to the lowest spot, which is through her ex-chicken house, now a house, which
Goes out back of the barn where
in back of the barn. It actually goes up in grade a lot. If you were to look where the water actually turns away from the road and you wanted to keep it in the road, to keep
Yeah.
it in front of her house, it would actually have to go uphill quite a lot.
yeah.
I don't
The
believe
water
that.
naturally
one at a time.
goes down and back to the right, which is down in, that used to be a chicken house years ago.
Yeah.
What is
I
the house?
know it was-
David Blanchard lived, I've lived in Richford my whole life. David Blanchard moved down here and he turned that chicken house
Oh, that's irrelevant.
into a place.
It's irrelevant.
It's not
Sorry.
irrelevant. That's where your house is. It was a chicken house and the water
It's
runs right
irrelevant
through,
whether
right
I
by
built
it.
it there or it was made out of a chicken house.
Well,
It's totally irrelevant. The house is where it
Poor
is.
placement of building a house is key, I think, essential in this.
So you're
There's
suggesting.
no different
Okay,
water
just one
running
at a time.
running there
Okay.
now than ever ran there. It's all coming off of that hill and running through your property. The problem is the pollution is you have so many animals that are unkept running all over the yard. They just manure everywhere. The water runs through it, which runs down onto them. If there wasn't animals in that yard, which there never has been in the last 50, 60 years of that I know of, to the extent you got them now, there probably wouldn't be a problem with the water running down there
Before
polluted.
me, there was horses there. Before that, there was
Yeah, but
goats
2 or
there. Before
3
that, there
here.
was a herd of milking cows there. There's always
No,
been
no,
farm
not-
animals on that property.
not to this
There's
extent
always
the way
been
you got
a
it.
manure pile on that property. I don't have enough animals to actually qualify as a farm according to the Department of Agriculture, who I just spoke to
She's
last week.
correct about that.
So it isn't a number of animals, it's the water. And the water has, and again, I'll start again, it does not go uphill. You can stand there and watch the rain run down the road.
Well,
It
yeah,
does
for-
not go uphill.
We can
From
go up
Charles
and-
Gervais right through to the Martins, and then you came out and actually ditched a hole so it could get into the Martins culvert because there was so much water running downhill.
That's what's
right in
picking
front
up
of my
from in
property.
front of your house,
Not
yeah.
uphill, downhill. So there's no way you can say that's an uphill grade because the water clearly tells you you're wrong.
That
And then
water's
second-
ran in there ever since. I've worked for the town since 1980 is when I started, and the water's always come through that culvert at Charles and Jessica's driveway, ran over and ran down the low
Then
grade
why is there
through
a
your
culvert
house.
under my driveway?
Just for what water it picks up from that short distance from where the grade changes there.
Okay, so
There's
let's-
probably 300-400 feet, I'm guessing, just sitting here that it's gonna pick up water. That whole knob is gravel, so 99% of the time the water doesn't bother because it just soaks in the ground. But when you get one of these downpours, you get a lot of water and it'll start washing or going.
Okay, just stop a minute, because Larry wants to add something, and then I'll let you go back to it.
Right, respectfully, the water isn't the problem. Water was there the first winter that we were here, actually the first several, we didn't have a problem with water.
Well, like I say, it's all sand and gravel there, so it basically just sinks into the ground
Right,
most
so-
of the time.
So water does come off the mountain, I know it comes off the road. The water isn't the problem, if I may be so blunt, the shit is the problem. When the water runs through the yard, there's now, for whatever reason, for whatever changes have happened, that water is now toxic. So it's not the fact that water's coming across, it's the fact that the water becomes toxic through whatever waste management program that you have. Respectfully, Ms. Britch, she is a farm. She doesn't qualify as a certified small farm, but by the definition of the Department of Agriculture, anybody who breeds, feeds.
Right,
raises
but
animals.
they said to us,
Right,
she didn't.
she doesn't qualify to have to do the paperwork.
Do the formal stuff,
the
that's
formal
left
stuff.
up to the town, yeah.
Yes, so that's all I wanted to say.
Okay,
Do you-
go ahead, go ahead.
Do you do any management of the manure at all?
Yeah, we do.
What's your
But
mitigation
I don't
system?
think you understand the situation. I wasn't prepared for this conversation tonight. I have diagrams I've brought before to show you folks. There is no place for this water to go but a small canal which goes through my septic system, goes through the existing manure pile that was there from, the manure pile that's there is over 20 years old. Before I even bought the property, the water runs right straight through it, through the pond that David Blanchard put in, and through my barnyard, where the barnyard has been for 150 years. Yes, he's absolutely correct. Manure is flowing across because it has nowhere else to go. The water has nowhere else to go.
Scott, can you reroute that water, tell us?
No, not really. It's always,
It's
it's
150
always
feet
gone
from my
there.
house.
It's poor placement of manure, the manure pile. You know, maybe 50 years ago, it was a good idea to put your manure pile down on a low
Nobody was
side
below
somewhere.
him either.
But they owned the whole thing then. That was their land, the manure
Yeah.
juice
No,
was
that
running
wasn't
on.
their land.
It
They
was years
purchased-
ago when
they
Gilmat's,
purchased the land and
when
split it into
Gilmat's
3 pieces.
farmed there, it was all one
Yeah,
section.
back
It
in
was
the
all
day.
their land.
Right,
Back
but-
when Gilmat's, John Nutting's grandparents farmed it. You got a hold of him back, what, 3 years ago? He went up and went over the same thing with you. He says, my grandparents lived here. I lived here when I was a kid. The water's always gone there. It was a chicken house. The water went through long underneath the chicken house. He went over it with you, what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago, whenever it was.
When the problem started, yes, I came up and said, you're flooding.
Nobody would know it any better
when
than
we're talking
him, or
about-
he grew up there, you
When-
know, it's.
When we're talking about water, we are talking about enough water where we have enough water where it's almost coming in the house. The corner of my house is almost completely washed out. You may not like the placement of my house,
Well, I
but it
think
is an
that's the
existing
problem.
house. I pay taxes on it. I should not be washed
Well, I
out.
know, but the town's not responsible for somebody putting a poor placement of a house 50 years ago. You know, I don't see how you can lay the blame on the town.
I personally, you get your piece of property, the town's from the center of the road 35 feet out. Anything to do,
20
feet,
yeah,
whatever.
25.
all right. So
Normally, on
I
a
guess my
three-year-old
point of
road.
view is from that, the water, if Scott corrects the water problem for the road and it does not cure the problem, you're still responsible for the water that goes out back to the house.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like I say, I'm
So-
willing to go up and look it
All right,
over and
so
try to correct what we
we've
can
got
correct.
that. So the next part I'm thinking is there comes a management system is where this stuff is going to have to be placed somewhere else so water's not going through that. Is there something that we could get through Department of Agriculture to get them up here to just to give advice?
They've already been.
They've already been. So
I've already done, I don't even know if we've done it yet, but one of the ideas was let's test the water before her house and we've already tested the water after her house.
Well, you don't-
Is this clean? Is that dirty?
correct.
There's absolutely no doubt. You're going through my septic system. My septic system is underwater for about a month in the spring, and anytime we have in the fall, any snow melt runoff in the wintertime, it's literally underwater. I've contacted a lawyer. He said, when your septic system starts to back up, we'll have to put you in something else. We'll have to sue the town. And then he explained the whole thing. He said, there's no way around it. He said, you're underwater. And he came out to watch
But
all
the
this.
septic system would be a property owner's responsibility.
We're not responsible for outside the
Yeah,
village water.
it's just like
I know when
I live outside of town. I have my own septic system. I don't call on the town to say, "Hey, my septic's plugged up. I need to come up and."
But is the
pump it
town
out."
dumping water into your property to flood your septic system?
The town's
It's
not
not dumping
necessarily
water.
doing it. The water comes off that mountain, comes
town is
to the town
exactly doing
road,
that.
and just goes down and
It doesn't go down
it doesn't
that.
cross
You
the road.
dig-
It doesn't-
Hey, we're getting out of here.
It doesn't cross. It doesn't follow the road. Probably
hammer.
100 feet. It's all water on
Oh,
that
that
side
is
of the hill.
absolutely incorrect. If you go up and look at it, the
I-
water comes down to the ditch.
I said we're done for right now. We're gonna talk one at a time, all right? This is getting out of hand. So Scott, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go up and look at it?
Oh, I've looked at it numerous times. I can look at it more. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a
Go ahead.
question that you're claiming the town has responsibility for all of this water. If Scott goes up and looks and there's a ditching system or whatever that you can divert the road water away, okay? Is that
I
gonna
can
satisfy?
change some of the water, but that's not the issue like he's saying. The water up by her driveway has nothing to do with the water that's running down.
Well,
Okay.
let me just
But-
tell you, and then Larry, you can talk. They told me to be very careful of that because of Beaver Pond that's right there.
Across the way, yeah.
Yeah, so when you start playing around with that, you might contaminate the whole Beaver Pond.
The
Wait,
whole road
Larry's
is-
next, Larry's next.
Ask me for a second because my brain has forgotten. what
On
I was
overload.
gonna say.
Okay, whenever you're ready, just raise your hand.
The Beaver Pond, I don't believe is in danger because the whole road is
Well,
ditched.
I'm listening to the Department of Ag and the
The
Department of
whole road is
Environment.
ditched to go to the Beaver Pond, so the rest of it actually goes there.
Okay.
So we're just talking about, my property's like 100 feet. We're talking about 100 feet are blocked in this whole road. I'm the only piece not ditched, it's turned into my property. The ditch comes up and diagonally points right into my property.
And why is that, Scott? Was I not listening?
That's just the way it's always been.
It's
That's
never
that's
been
the
that
lay
way.
of the land. It's
Well,
That's
Larry-
water runs
Larry-
downhill.
Hey, Larry,
to this point, there was no problem when we bought the property 6 years ago. About 6 years ago. This problem has developed over the last, 3 years.
what's the difference?
The difference is, that only from what we've noticed, what we noticed was the grass was green, plants grew.
What was the difference in the neighborhood? Was there one?
The-
It just all of a sudden turned bad?
About 3 years ago, this started, there was a noticeable increase in the odor,
Okay.
flies.
So this is, you thinking because of the manure?
I'm thinking because of whatever
Okay.
causes God, man, you know.
Well, the report did say that he felt that it came from animal waste.
Right,
That was the environmental
right.
report.
I think there's been an increase in the amount of runoff. I think there may have been changes in the
Right. So-
level of vegetation in Miss Bridges' property. I think that maybe they've either altered the vegetation or the animals may have eaten a lot of it, so that there's a lot more surface runoff. The size of the pond that accumulates in our backyard has grown a little bit bigger and is more persistent. It seems like it's more than just, you know, the same amount of snow runoff that it has been. It has
Right.
been getting deeper and lasting longer. We've tested it and it's toxic. It does rest right in the area where my well is. It hasn't
Right.
contaminated it yet,
Right.
but you can see the well pipe sticking out of the ground and the water is right up and around the well.
Right.
There's a tremendous odor that comes from next door. The smell is kind of like decay or putrefaction, rotting, a dumpster. And I don't go outside, I haven't for the past 3 years because the smell is unbelievable. It's intolerable. I've had bones, the backbones of animals, carcasses dragged onto my lawn. I have every manner of poultry that is imaginable, chickens, guinea hens, geese, ducks,
Turkeys.
Peacock?
turkeys, peacocks, everything. I've had cows over, I've had pigs over, the pigs rut up the yard. I'd really, yes, tons of rabbits, the rabbits dig warrens in the yard. I'd like to do some landscaping and make this my little haven, but there's no point because the pigs will be over to turn everything over.
And that's visible,
No,
you can see
I
that.
think this is a management problem and.
There's no
and,
fencing
you know,
anywhere?
What's that?
There's no fencing anywhere?
We have an invisible fence for our dogs, but other than
Right,
that-
right. So, but for the farm, do you have any fencing?
No,
Oh, yeah,
there's-
everything's contained except the chickens. We have an occasional escape and I will agree, the pigs have trotted over there and have torn up their lawn.
It's
tried to
quite a
fix it.
bit.
It happens, it's,
But that's where the nuisance law is gonna come in. You can say it happens.
yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
saying yes.
You
it's
are,
correct.
yeah, but it may be that you can't let it happen.
Yeah.
And you have to do something
Do
to
something more with
contain
fencing?
it, because their lawn is,
Now,
A mess.
it's back to your water thing. My house used to be flooded. My basement had this much water in there. The town road, I bought a house halfway down a hill. It's the way everything runs, ran into it. We fixed it ourselves. I didn't come to the town. We had drainage. We dug it all out in our house. We put drainage outside around the house. We
I
put drainage
asked
behind
everyone
it.
to come up and look.
Yeah.
So that you could be knowledgeable
Yeah.
about what you're speaking.
You did call me
The
and
ditch
ask me to come.
literally turns
So-
diagonally, and the town chewed out the ditch so that it literally pours into
Right.
my property, which at that point V's
Right.
straight through. There is no other way for the water to go.
So if they go up and do that ditching to match the rest of
Yeah.
that
well,
road.
he's not saying
and
he's
if
gonna
the-
do that.
Right,
ditching.
if he goes up and looks and sees
I don't
something
think you
they
can
can
make
do.
water run uphill. We can ditch part of it and get some
the
of
road
it to
water
go
to go
where she's
someplace
talking
else.
by her
Okay,
driveway.
one at a
but-
time, one at a time.
But the rest of your water issue, if there's still that much going through, you may wanna think of some different things to do too.
That is it. The only other runoff will be from my hill, 20
Okay.
acres, and that is, it won't go any farther. The pond is actually a lot smaller than it was. When David Blanchard was there, his son had a sailboat. That pond is maybe
Okay, we can't
12
go.
by 12, 12 by 15.
I was just,
I think
'cause
there's
we
some
did a
other
lot of
issues
repairs.
here that she's gonna talk about, so we need to wind it down. You have a question?
No, I don't, I'm sorry.
All right, do you have a question?
No, it was answered.
Okay, you're gonna go up there, you're gonna take a look, you're gonna let us know what you can do, if you can do anything.
Like he's saying again, it's not the water is the issue, it's the overpopulation of animals
Animals,
and manure is the issue. It's the problem.
Okay.
I'll look at the water.
You'll look at the water.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yep.
say you're gonna go up and look at the water.
Okay.
Well, this isn't over. I've looked up there, the
Yeah, I was
environment's
up
looked
there
up
too.
there, the ag people have gone up there. And so that's, you said you had several things, you wanted to address them one at a time. So that's the water.
Oh, no, they brought up the several different points. I think we've covered them all. The only request I have is that I be notified. I have several dogs and I have a bull behind the barn. I do not want people walking around my barn that I'm not there to make sure that the bull is either tied up or,
Well, people from the state have already
Well-
been there. Scott's
I'm-
going
I'm
up.
not going down in on your property, I'm doing it
Yeah.
on the
That's the
road.
road.
And
Exactly.
if you
If it's a
can't
town
safely
problem,
walk
it's
in the
on the
road,
road.
that's another issue, I would say.
Yeah.
That's right. John?
There's also, besides the trash issue, under zoning, there is what is known as performance standards, which has to do with waste and smell.
Yeah.
Those are enforceable on all property anywhere.
Right, and I
So-
wasn't sure about the nuisance, but that part, yes, I know
Yes.
is. So there's going to have to be a change, it sounds like, because there are some rules in town and there's ordinances about, your animals being a nuisance to them.
Performance standards.
Their property is torn up, it's obvious, you always see animals on their property, so at some point, I'm not gonna say what, cause we haven't investigated enough yet. And John, when did you send,
I sent it to the lawyer last week.
so you sent the case
Case to
to the lawyer? Did you get a notification of that? Do you send it to her, or the lawyer has to?
The lawyer.
The lawyer has to, okay. So I think we start with Scott looking at it. And us looking at the nuisance law and what you just mentioned, the
Performance standards.
performance standards. And take it from there. I mean, it's not an answer tonight.
no, I wouldn't expect an answer tonight.
And maybe I don't know about, I would assume with the animals, there's gonna have to be some fencing. If they're getting on, I mean, you can't really drive through Gilmet Road, you have to slow down.
We do have a survey coming out at the end of the month to determine exactly where the property lines
Okay.
are. At a future meeting, we will talk about possible fencing solutions. The problem comes if we put up any serious fence, it will stop the water from coming onto our property, but it will also flood her property, which Miss Lee and I aren't at an adversarial point in the
Right, right.
relationship. We talk, she's been very
Right,
sweet.
well, it seems like you can come up with a solution. I mean,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to pay for everything yourself. You should, first, we'll make a determination from the town. Scott, if you were going up that road, from the middle of it to where is the town? Would it go on any of their properties?
What do you mean, the right of way?
Like the right, like
Well, to
25
the
foot?
ditch, yeah, there's
So
like-
it would be on both properties, we'd be a few feet over, yeah.
Mhm.
Because the last I saw that there was a pile of, I call it a feeding pile, mortality pile that was right on the edge of the road. So I wonder if that could be somewhere else.
are you talking about the bones for the dogs?
Talking about, I saw total full-size dead birds and the other animals were feeding off that
Oh,
pile.
I don't know about that, but we did
Well,
have
I
a
saw it
bird get
right
hit, and it's very possible that
Well,
that
the
was.
pile
happening.
was like, yeah, there was more than one.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. We do get bones from a butcher. We go and get fresh
No,
bones
these
on a
were
regular basis.
fully birded. They were heads and bodies, and
No.
they were they were piled up. They were dead, but the other animals were feeding off that pile, and it was right on the edge of the road. So I would think that maybe things like that could be shoved back into.
Yeah, we
Not
don't
our
allow
property.
dead birds to lay on the property. We dispose of them immediately. And because we
Well,
have,
I saw them.
yeah, well then I would like to see a photo of it.
Well, I
because
don't have.
We
a
keep
photo.
livestock dogs and we don't allow them to chew on the birds that they're protecting, so we don't allow them to lay them around.
Okay.
We do have a pile of bones. The large bones that they're talking about is we get bones for our dogs from the
I
butcher. and they'll
understand
be-
that. No, I
big old
know
rib
the
cages.
difference. I know the difference. Yeah.
My dogs lugged his dogs some bones one day as a gift, I guess, and they were on their lawn.
Lucky
They
you.
called me up and said, "Where are these
No,
bones?"
I
There
saw
might
the
be
pile
an
on your
illicit
lawn.
romance going on.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I've seen. So all
Illicit
right.
romance.
And so
Gotta
I
put
would
that one
say
in the
that
notes.
in the next 2 weeks between our meetings, that Scott's gonna do that, we're gonna look up that law, you're gonna get a notice from John. And we take it from there, I mean, I'm sorry, it's not a solution right now, but,
That's all right, I would like to
We're
thank you
starting.
and the select board for at least listening to our problems.
Oh, yeah,
And hopefully we
anytime.
can find a mutual solution that will solve this. It's very
Mhm.
frustrating to try to enjoy
you're outdoors.
our outdoors and not be able to.
Sure.
And maybe with your help and Miss Lee's cooperation, we can solve that. So,
Right.
thank you.
Right.
Sounds good.
You have a right to, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get your first name, please?
Pam,
Pam?
Pam
Okay,
Martin.
Doctor. Pam.
sorry. I just, for the minutes, that's all. Thank you.
My pleasure. That's what this is going to be.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Any
So,
more from Leah?
you done?
Well, that's all we can do right now. I don't know, in the future, maybe something else, but we're not gonna drop it. It's-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna go look and let us know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't see any,
They have thrown it back to the
I
town.
don't see much of any resolve changing water. We've looked at it before in the past. John looked at it, I've looked at it.
Let me ask this question, what harm could there be to ditch it? If it doesn't work, you ditched 100 feet.
Well,
That's a lot of
You
property.
don't realize how much you'd have to ditch. You'd have to put an 8-foot deep ditch to get water to run uphill for a ways, to get it to run downhill for a ways.
Again, the road water running downhill begs to differ, that it's going the other way.
Yeah, but the height of that ditch off on Charlie's lawn is a lot different height than what that road is. You gotta get the water to come up into the road to begin with. You're talking 6 feet or something there.
I don't understand.
If somebody would run grade and show you, you'd see, but I'll go look at it and we'll shoot some grades. and-
Maybe you guys could discuss it tomorrow, because we're
Oh,
not getting
we'll-
anywhere
we'll look
tonight.
at it.
Yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
thanks for coming, Leah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've done, oh, John,
Oops.
you're a guest.
Oh,
Go ahead, sit and enjoy. Oh, John would like us to reappoint the following to the Development Review Board. It is July, I forgot. For a term of 3 years each. We could do them all at once, or you can split them apart. I'll tell you who they are first. Rowena Brown, Heather Skilling, and Andy Derby. Do you recommend these?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion
I'll make a
to
motion to accept.
Rowena Brown, Heather Skilling, and Andy Derby? I'll give it to you, Tim, if you want it.
That's okay.
Okay.
I talked to each of them.
You're
And they're all willing.
moving the slate?
Yeah.
I'll
just
second
recommend,
The
yeah.
slate, yeah. the
I'll
slate.
second it.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's done. Anything else?
And this is just a notice as the town is butter to a hearing we'll be having next week.
Okay, in response to an appeal of the zoning administration decision dated June 1st, 2021, a public hearing has been scheduled by the Town of Richford Development Review Board for Tuesday, July 13th at 7 p.m. at the Richford Town Hall. Enclosed is a copy of the hearing notice. Okay, and this is because we are, I guess, abutters. Okay. So the hearing is for Richard and Shari Anderson of 3174 State Park Road, Enosburg, submitted an application for an appeal, the zoning administration decision at 140 Main Street, that would be the old funeral home,
Yes.
correct? In the village. The appeal is for the denial of the second apartment. So apparently the DRB denied the second apartment to go in there.
I did.
You did,
I
okay.
did.
And the property does not meet the zoning district minimum standards. So the hearing, as I said, July 13th, 7 p.m., Town Hall. A copy can be obtained at the zoning office. The participation in this local proceeding is prerequisite to the right to take any substantial appeal. So you have to have the hearing before you can hear the appeal.
We're in a butter because of the park across the street?
Yes, yes.
And do you wanna say anything, or does it, should be said at that hearing, not here?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought. So, if we are able to, you might wanna go do that. Joe, you gonna talk about something, or are you
No, I'm just here.
just here to
I just did my billing stuff and then
Okay,
Fair comes to the rest of it.
okay, good,
13th of July is.
here.
Something else going on that day.
What day of the week is that? On
Tuesday. Tuesday.
Okay. Okay, I probably have more, cause I just looked at my email. The dog issue we heard about last week where, Mr. Walker Brazy said that he had paid you were here, paid $500 to the dog catcher for finding his dog. Let me see, I don't wanna forget anything here.
What's the guy's
His
name?
her daughter. found
Walker
it.
Philip
Brazy.
Walker Brazy.
Philip Walker Brazy.
Walker
Lives
Brazy.
across from the old Bresnian store.
He offered a reward, and it was her
Okay,
daughter that
he's-
had the dog.
He said he called the dog catcher, or
Yep.
I shouldn't call it that, animal control officer, to report his dog missing. She didn't bring it back. Then he posted a $500 reward, and all of a sudden she brought it back, and she wanted the reward because she said her daughter found it. So I called her up. Her version of it is different. She said her daughter found it on the rail trail down by Berkshire, and there was no money exchanged. They brought it back. So my question is, why didn't he tell us about it 2 years ago?
Right.
So I don't know what you wanna do with it. Those are the two sides of the story. I can't determine which one's.
Well, there was no proof, so.
Yeah.
And it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, sounds like it's kinda out of our
So I just
control.
wanted to bring it up because we
Yeah, I think
had
that's
it at an
fine.
open meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'd say so too. We need to vote on who will accept our funds from, I don't know, FEMA or
No,
whatever.
ARPA.
What's ARPA?
It stands for, it's,
Say what it is then,
the first $240,000 of the,
The money that's coming in.
yeah, from the
COVID.
early COVID relief. And there's a signature page on it that the state won't release the money
Until we have.
until
a
the
meeting.
town votes on who can
Who's
accept the
signing?
money.
So I would say Kylie. 'cause
Kylie,
she's the
exactly.
I agree
treasurer.
with that.
I would
Yes.
So
say-
I
I
will
would
nominate
say our
Kylie
clerk
to
and
accept our
treasurer.
ARPA
I'll second
funds.
it.
Okay, and she seconded it.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's Kylie. The
There's a-
evict, go
There's a
ahead.
portal and stuff along with that, accepting those funds that you have to deal with, and she's
She's the
in
one that
tune
knows
with-
the stuff.
with
Yeah.
FEMA on doing kind of the same thing, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, no, she forwarded the,
So we can go and look and see
the
how it's being spent. right?
tutorial on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
watched it,
yeah,
but I didn't
I
understand
watched
that.
most
I
of
know, I
it.
did too, and I'm like,
But
I have to watch that again.
I wasn't that interested, that's why I
I'd
didn't
rather,
understand
I'd
it.
rather watch a ballgame.
If I wanna do something, I can
Yeah.
watch it, it would just go. If
Yeah.
I'm interested, it's different.
Yep, I agree.
I am interested, don't get me wrong, Kara, I'm interested when we get the funds,
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
the
more interested in
tutorial
her,
was
yeah,
really,
yeah, it didn't tell us much.
no.
Okay, concerning the eviction, remember last time when I
Yes.
said I was gonna call the lawyer about the eviction? She's, or he, either one of them, is going to prepare the eviction for the house on the
Fire
corner,
Street.
Fire Street. And then as soon as it is lifted, which is coming soon, we'll have the eviction ready. We won't have to then start 30 days again.
Okay.
She's still looking to see if we can shut the water off. As soon as she says we can, you had said we could, that's what you wanted, to shut the
Yes.
water off. Because they've used water for a year there. Okay, so there's that.
That still makes me a little nervous. I'm
Which-
agreeing with it because you shut the water off, where are they gonna go to the bathroom?
I don't even know who lives there, to tell you the truth. Does
I don't know,
anybody
there's
live
people
there?
in and out all the time.
I'm assuming
And I'm
there's
like,
somebody
where
there.
are they
I
going to
don't
go to
know
the
who.
bathroom? That's
Have a
just
Prison
really
bucket.
bad.
Have a camper.
Yeah, but will they?
Who cares?
I don't know.
I hate to even
We,
think about it.
but we have to
We
do
have to-
something.
we have to
We
do
haven't
something.
even
I
been
agree.
in that
They've been there
building.
for a year.
I know.
We haven't
over a
even been
year.
in a building we own, so it's time.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so she's coming, we're not gonna shut off until she tells us we can. It's
Right.
not like we're
Very
just gonna do it. We're gonna do everything legally.
Gotcha.
Now I forgot, there was, the lease to the, they're very anxious to have it because it came up July 1st, it was over. But our lawyer sees nothing in there that says we can't either raise the rent or charge for utilities.
Well, instead of extending the lease, why don't we just do a new contract?
That's what she said, we just do
Are
a
you-
new contract. And their choice is, if they don't wanna stay, they don't have to.
Right.
And
We don't have to extend a lease, we can start a new
well,
lease.
that's what they're banking on, the extension, but she also said that, we might wanna, cancel the fact that we can make another motion saying that we rescind the fact that we offered to extend the lease, because
Right.
at that time, we did not know they were leaving.
Right, and that's why the motion contained
That.
awaiting
yes.
a legal opinion
So,
or whatever,
yes,
so.
we don't have, if you wanna rescind it, you can, if you don't, I mean, not the one we just did, but the original one last December. And then we start a new lease with them, and, you know,
I think we should start a new lease, to be honest.
well, that's what
I
she's
do.
working on, so do you wanna hold on till she gets back to us again?
Yeah. I
Because
would.
they were back and forth, she's talking to their lawyer, the two lawyers are talking. I
And we're
keep-
hearing conflicting information.
And we're hearing conflicting information, although we're hearing it from not one of the lawyers. And he's saying, well, that's not, and then I think I don't wanna go on about it, but I think their lawyer agreed with us on the, charging for utilities. That was the last I
That's what I
heard.
mean, if we do.
Maybe not the rate and raise, but so let's let them handle it for the next.
Yeah,
We're
'cause
not
it would
gonna
be a-
kick them out. They
It
can
would be,
stay.
it would be a new contract, so
Right,
they,
be a new
we could add
contract.
anything we want.
Exactly, they could pay
And
their
we
own
were
heating, they could pay
reasonable,
their
we
own
didn't charge what we did,
utilities.
and we didn't charge anywhere near what they're gonna pay, so I think probably let it go to the lawyer for a little while longer.
Yeah, another 2 weeks, checking on.
Yeah, she should be done by then, I mean, they've been back and forth, they've been talking, so,
Okay.
okay, is that all right with everybody? We'll just let them
Sounds
deal with it.
great.
We're not gonna say, oh, July 1st is here, goodbye, I mean, we're not gonna do that
Right.
anyway, so.
Right.
They can argue long enough, the year will be up.
So I'm jumping up in the
Shouldn't
agenda,
burn up too
right?
much lawyer time on
Well, I
something
know.
that simple, you wouldn't think.
Well, remember, he said, why should we pay for two lawyers? Well, we found out why we should, because they got different ideas. So, anyway. Vacation time. Okay, I think that when people take vacations, and I don't know how we do this, that we need to know, because we had some drug testing the other day, and I didn't know people were on vacation. And I just think that we should somehow say, hey,
Master schedule?
so somebody's going on vacation for a week, that's fine, but, or days or whatever, I don't know. How do you do it?
We usually just write it on the calendar.
That's
Well,
what
I
I
know,
get
but we
sorted.
don't go up and look at the calendar. It's only really affects me because, when they say, you know, we're doing a test or something like that on the 24th or whatever at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and I'm supposed to make sure they're there, and I don't know they're not, and so that's just the thing. And like, I don't know, Kylie's going on vacation, I'm sure she'll tell us, but
We got a
Can-
calendar behind my desk, and usually we
just write it
talk
on
it
there.
over amongst
Okay. Mm-hmm.
one another, and we just write it on the calendar. Or somebody will write it on. If we have an issue, we
Take it on,
yeah, we
okay.
usually. We got this time of year. We basically got to take
Oh, I
it.
know,
You can't
you're
take it any
all-
other time of year.
Well, the problem is
Can there
that.
be a master calendar here? That's what you need to have.
Well, that's what I need, yeah, because I was spoken to about it, the last one, by the drug tester, because they do come all the way up here. And not spoken to like, oh, you should have done that, because, but just like, well, it's the end of the quarter, we need to get this stuff
Yeah.
done type thing.
When-
Just bringing it up.
When
that's-
people are requesting time off, I mean, if I didn't wanna work tomorrow, can I say I'm gonna take a vacation day tomorrow?
Yeah,
And no one,
a lot
no
of-
one complains.
Usually Matt or Slim or somebody will call me even,
Yeah.
you know, the night before.
Sure,
Say
that's what I
something
was-
comes up, we don't.
I
last
know,
week had-
it would be easier, I know.
Do you have email down there, Scott? You don't have a
I guess we do. I never use it at the
I didn't know
shop.
if it was just as simple as just, you know, hey Kylie, Linda, so and so's on
Yeah.
vacation today, just as
I mean, we see
I
it
never
later
use
on
it.
the,
I never use it at the shop.
See it on the timesheets, yeah.
I don't have a phone. I
that's
don't
too late,
text. I
that's
don't
too late.
email.
I don't have a phone.
Good for you, man.
Um,
We're in the same boat.
I don't hear so much, but I don't have a cell phone. I have a landline. Okay, I just bringing it up because it's happened a couple times, and she said to me, this is the end of the quarter, and I'm like, okay. I got some more, but I haven't looked at yet. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you have any suggestions as to how you would like that to
Just
happen? or-
email us or tell Kylie or
Okay.
have a calendar.
Seth's gone this week.
Okay, well, oh dear, I've already scheduled, no, he's already,
He's gone this week.
Okay, a whole week?
Calendar's written in, yeah.
okay. I mean, you know, sometimes it's just nice to know this week. Okay. Oh, which also brings up, because I was trying to get hold of you guys, does, when we call you, do you hear us?
On the radio?
Yeah.
If somebody's near a radio. if we're not in
Because
any
we could hear you
equipment.
guys talking, and I was looking for somebody, and they didn't respond, so I wondered, we could hear them talking though, so they must have been near a
Yeah,
radio.
Yeah, if they're,
I
yeah.
thought maybe they were just ignoring me, but
well, maybe.
then
Do.
we said you do.
I suppose they'd do that too.
Yeah, I think I said something like, it's an emergency, and nobody answered, so I just wondered if we needed to get it fixed, that's all.
Well, the excavator, he can talk out, but he can't hear unless you're right with a truck with him ditching. It really doesn't affect us, cause usually he's right with a truck ditching, so we've
Well, I could not make
never,
an
something
answer.
wrong with the antenna or something. He can hear, but he can't.
I mean, there could be an
Do-
emergency sometimes.
Do you know what the scanner frequency is?
Nope.
Who would have that, do you know? Anybody? I'll check in the office tomorrow. What's that?
Burlington Communication or Radio North.
They'd have the
Would have it.
frequency.
That's the radio programming companies around here.
Okay, I just have a thing here, this is from, Stephanie Bush, I think is that somebody you know, it's to law enforcement, anyway. Take a few minutes to reach out to EMS and first responder community regarding an anticipated increase in opioid overdoses during the summer months. Historically, there's been an uptick in drug overdoses and deaths during the month of July. We expect that trend to continue. Some may have heard that many households experiencing homelessness will be exiting the General Assistance Housing Program, and many of those households will receive payment of $2,500 upon exiting the program to support finding more sustainable housing.
This letter went out to all.
I was gonna
EMS
say, you must have
providers.
gotten that.
Yeah, it went out from the state of Vermont EMS.
Anyway,
office.
make sure you have plenty of Narcan.
We got plenty.
Well, I did, yes, I got 2 shipments,
right.
after our last experience with it.
Okay, make sure you have plenty of Narcan.
I heard at 9 to 11,
Pretty sad.
they gave somebody to get them
What's
back.
that?
Just
Uh,
pretty sad.
That seems like a
No,
lot.
9 to 11.
That was
No.
on the news, how much I took.
That's a lot of,
Yeah.
so 9 to 11,
Isn't that crazy?
that's up to 40 milligrams, wow.
Yeah, they were talking about it on a news program.
Carfentanil, it can't be anything other than carfentanil. It's the only thing that they take that much.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they're sneaking fentanyl in a lot of stuff, and they,
Oh, this is
these
even
guys
worse.
take it thinking they're
This is
smoking
even
dope.
worse than fentanyl. This is like
I know.
1/10 of the amount of fentanyl to put you
I
out.
know.
Not awful.
Anyway, be
Sad.
prepared. Be prepared. It's somebody's kid, I mean,
Yep, exactly.
It's somebody's kid. All right. I gotta go. Wait, I gotta stop talking for a minute. Okay, highway.
Can we
Yep.
do the minutes from
No.
the last meeting? It normally comes up here under other, and
I always forget to put that in.
that's okay.
Are you
One-
making that motion right now?
Well, no,
Oh.
because I have an omission from the last
Okay.
meeting, which I discussed with you.
Yeah.
Okay, and it goes in the minutes after the repairing gravestones and before the executive session. And as it reads, now it says, Mr. Green requested that the board send a letter to the library concerning their request to increase their appropriation. The numbers have been reviewed by the town clerk and the board, and as agreed upon earlier, the town will not increase the appropriation, but will carry the utility costs for the library. The first refund check for utilities was paid for by the library. It was issued last week. Chair Collins indicated she would send the letter.
And I did.
Perfect.
Okay.
I just needed to get it into the
Yep.
minutes
Now,
because
do
we
I
talked
have
about
a
it.
motion?
I'll make a motion to approve these.
Okay.
Second.
What's the date on that?
June 21.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I wasn't here.
You weren't
Abstain,
here,
yeah.
he has to abstain, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry. Sherry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Highway,
Thank
you
you.
said?
yes.
I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I've got a driveway application here. I guess it needs to be signed. I signed it. I approved it for
Okay.
Tracy and Michael Heeman up where their
we
sugar
did that
house is.
already.
Just above their sugar house, they're gonna build another garage and they want a driveway in there.
Here's just a reminder. Okay.
Who's-
Do we make, do we
Filed a
motion
permit
those? Do
through
we-
you? Yeah.
Do we all have to
I,
sign?
Yeah, we all
yeah,
signed
I don't
it.
know. I approve
I-
it and if I don't approve it,
Oh, it's down here.
Then we don't do
I
it.
don't know what the real procedure is.
Let's vote
I
on
had
it,
a-
let's
I had
vote
a-
on it anyway.
I actually had a person pick a driveway permit up from me a month or so ago. He was picking it up for another landowner. He gave it to the landowner. He hasn't returned it yet, but now the driveway's all in and done.
Of course.
And I see the driveway was done, so I stopped and asked the contractor, I says, well, where's the driveway permit? I've never seen a driveway permit. He assumed that the guy had done it. But he actually did a pretty good job doing the driveway. There's a couple little things I had him change, but supposedly the driveway permit is coming, but if it turns out it doesn't, I don't know what
You
the
also need a
what the
land
procedure
development
is.
permit
I know.
for the
What?
driveway.
They've got a drive, do they have a zoning
Oh,
permit?
sorry.
It's on the Johnson Road. They're building a camp.
Yeah,
They've already
she
started the
I
camp.
haven't issued yet, she came in last Thursday.
Well, they're getting
she
things
did-
rolling. They put a driveway in, they got the camp started, they got,
Oh, it's camp?
yeah. So,
So, I'll make a motion that we approve the driveway permit for, what's the address?
Eames,
82 McAllister Road.
82 McAllister Road. Do I have a second?
Second.
One sec, yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then we know it's legal.
I don't know if you guys got Dan Seeley's email where he's done a final report on the grant that we did on Green Avenue, doing the stone line ditching and changing some culverts and stuff. He's doing a final report on it. He emailed me. I think he forwarded it to everybody, or forwarded it to
I
the
have
select
it,
board.
but I
at
think
least. But he wanted to know if we would approve his final report to send in and get the grant money coming back to us.
his wife proofread it.
His wife
And I just
proofread
gave
it.
it to you, yeah.
Yeah. It's, I don't know if you guys got the email or not. I did.
I didn't see it.
I just got it today, cause I've been here for the
Yeah.
past.
We don't have to approve it now tonight. We can wait till the next meeting, but if we approve it, he can get the money coming.
Let's get,
You know, it's,
yeah.
he's just,
It's legit.
yeah, he's good at
Yeah.
writing that stuff up and
And
his wife
she's an
checks it, so,
excellent
yeah.
grant writer.
He's,
She looked
you
it
know, he
over.
likes doing it for me, so he does
Yeah.
it, so.
He's been doing some good stuff.
Just make an agreement that it's all right to go ahead and
Yep.
send it in for,
Yep,
yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion. Unless you
Second
just, okay.
No,
I'll make a motion to approve the, what is it called?
to send the final report in from Dan Seeley to get our grant funds from the Upper Missisquoi Trout River.
Have Scott make that motion. It's
really?
probably kind of dumb for me to
Now I
do.
gotta watch the TV to find.
I'll second it though.
No, it's nice of them. This is,
Yeah, they're
you know,
very nice.
we did the Pinnacle Road last year with grant money they, you know,
Yeah.
got for us, and it actually works good. It pays for all the material usually,
And
which,
they're like expert grant writers. She does it all the time too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good we have them, yeah.
another issue that I had, I don't know if it's really highway, but Paul Heeman approached me. He was wondering why, he's mowed the sectional lawn between your property line and
Yeah.
his for the
Looks
last
good.
3 years, he says.
Oh,
And he's wondering why Donald and Judy don't mow that part.
just 'cause he's doing
The
it.
house has been sold apparently between
Yeah,
that
yep,
Mrs.
yep,
Is
the
it Big Now?
Nels has been
She's
sold.
gone and there's another property owner there. But he was wondering why that's not included in
I
the,
thought of that the other day. I
Matt
wondered-
Irons said when he had the town contract, he mowed that section.
Well,
So
they
apparently
mow-
it got lost in the shuffle
They
somewhere.
mow my house. You know, they mow in front of my
Oh,
house.
yeah, but
But they don't seem to.
They don't do
I'm
like in
talking-
front of the Bicknell property and Paul
Or his,
Heeman.
and he just cleared it out, so,
He says he doesn't mind doing his, but he's been doing the neighbors for 3 years, and he thinks Donald and Judy probably should be doing it, seeing it used to be part of the contract, and it
Yeah.
just, I guess it
agree.
got lost in the shuffle.
I agree, because I thought of it the other day when I was driving down, saying how nice it looked, and then I thought, when do they do that, not that?
Well, he just wanted me to ask.
Mow in
and
front
just-
of Bicknell's,
It got
yeah.
lost, I guess,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
didn't,
I don't know why. Big nails, okay, I will ask tomorrow.
and we do have a couple of our other grants from, Grants and Age through Bethany, she gets it from Regional Planning, we did 139, the stone line ditch from up by Danny Turcotte's all the way down the hill towards the customs. We've got that completed and reseeded, and that's doing good. And over on Snyder Road, Preview Hill, the same. There's another grant we got there. We did the same thing. Finished up that section of road there. They're in segments. We have to do so many segments every year to keep up with what the state of Vermont wants us to do in this cleaning up the lake project, so. We got those done,
Good. Is that it?
pretty much,
Okay.
yes, unless
Thank you.
something else that I'm not thinking of.
Okay, I'm sure we'll remind you if we do.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, buildings?
The generator with the fire department wasn't working, but I guess Archie went down and worked on it, and it's now working. He had it running for a half hour, which is good, because I had called and I hadn't got a call back yet on them coming to fix it. So that's good. And as far as the roof, still waiting for materials. Besides that, not a lot.
That's it? Okay, thanks.
Have you ever heard anybody say anything about a new furnace at the village garage or the town garage? Any of the oil?
Do you need one?
Well, when they were over there cleaning it last year, Blue-Ins, one of the guys said it's pretty near time for a new furnace here, and same thing with the village garage, but
Well,
I don't know if they just, once they get so old, if they just
Because they always
randomly
tell
wanna
us
check
we
them,
need
if you
new
don't,
Is it hot air or?
yeah, they're just hot air furnaces,
Probably,
yeah.
Oh, that was something. I'm glad you said that though, because Robert came to me about suggesting maybe us buying the tank out by your guys.
The only problem I see
Versus-
with that is it puts the liability of that fuel and that fuel tank onto us rather than them,
Okay.
which is the only drawback really that I see.
And he
But
he
if
had
we're gonna
suggested-
keep switching dealers,
Yeah, I know.
it's easier to do it that way, but we don't have the liability
Wait,
presently.
did you switch dealers for the road
Well, I
gap?
don't know, I don't know
We
if
did.
that,
We didn't approve that, we only approved
No,
the,
we approved Blue Ones.
building, heating
building
oil.
fuel, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
And they
Robert's
can
got the
stay
heating
with
fuel, yeah.
Blue
He has
Ones.
a heating fuel. I think he
But I
thought
think
he
Robert
included
was
that then
overlooking
too.
at the tank.
Yeah, I think he thought that was included too.
I told him,
It isn't.
Okay.
you had that in
I will
minutes,
get
how
back
we
to him.
voted last time? We said.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Let's see, because he had suggested if we were gonna keep switching fuel companies for us to purchase it, but if we didn't want to own it,
Blue-Ins was
Then they
technically 2 cents cheaper
Yes, but we,
than Fred's anyway, right?
Yes.
So
Right,
why,
and-
why go through the trouble to switch that tank to pay 2
Right.
cents more,
Right.
is my
Says,
we were doing business
the
with both
award
of
the
them.
fuel oil for the town buildings to
Okay.
Fred's Energy.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I
I
see
will
him now.
clarify that again
yeah,
with
okay.
him, yep.
We thought it was fair to keep,
Well, I
Yeah.
can see the point, but then it puts the liability of that fuel in that
Well,
tank onto
his
the town
suggestion
rather than
was-
the
You don't
fuel
want that.
dealer.
Is for us to
Well, that's what I
buy
was
it.
thinking, it's
Yeah.
just another thing that's,
His
Could go
suggestion
wrong.
was,
yeah, nothing to go
yeah,
wrong.
just one more thing.
Right,
his suggestion was for us to buy it, and if we didn't want it, then Fred's would buy it from us.
If we also owned it, would it go through an EPA thing where we'd have to go through some spill prevention
Yeah.
measures, which
Yeah.
we don't wanna get into
Let
that.
them own it.
I would, yeah.
And
That's
that's,
my
you know,
thinking.
we
spread
started,
the
I will let him
business
know
around.
that it's
It's-
not for the fuel over there, it's just for
Building
the
fuel,
buildings,
heating
Right.
fuel.
heating
Yeah.
only.
and we decided to do that because they were paying taxes here and they came to our town, took a chance on us, so that was the,
Oh, I don't have any problem with
Yeah.
that.
okay, where are we, done with buildings?
Yes, that just kind of popped in my head because he was talking about the furnaces.
Yeah, water and sewer,
Water and sewer have no updates at this time.
okay. I'll do it under playground. That would be playground. Okay, park, oh, that's me, parks, playgrounds and cemeteries. Okay, there was a backup or clog or something down at the playground, in the bathroom, our actual bathroom, not the portalette things, but, Nick went down and he had to get a, whatever that's called,
Jackhammer.
there you go. Had to get a,
Wow, you're good
Come
at
on,
charades, huh?
Tim, you're just supposed to figure out what I'm talking about. And I went down today, he worked on the weekend, and Alfred was down there, cause I gave the okay for that, but they had to dig up the floor, which was all concrete, called Daryl, they're going to, Daryl's not going, but,
Jeremy.
yeah, is going down tomorrow. Apparently the back of the building settled, and there's, cracks, and it made that pipe that goes right through the floor, go up, and then, stop it. All right, it goes out of the building, and it goes up, so it's backing up, and there's a big rock in it.
It's messed up.
It's
Yeah.
messed,
Yeah.
it's messed up. And he's our plumber from the playground. I said, do what you have to do. I trust him. I trust Alfred. Not to do anything they don't have to do, but it's gonna be a job. And they're nice enough. They're gonna do it around the kids' schedule, because the kids are there. There's 150 kids there every day. till noon, yeah, and they use that to change in, it's an extra bathroom, there's a sink in there, so they're gonna work in the afternoon, they worked all weekend, but it's a bigger job than
What you
we
thought?
Yeah, yeah. He thought
Yeah.
it was a stone, but he says the stone isn't the problem. So anyway, that's going on down there. The cameras weren't working. Arky spent some time the other day with the camera people. Got the cameras back on in my office. Down at the corner, there were 2 or 3 off. Playground, there was one that was bad, so they're all fixed now. There are some issues down there. I talked to the sheriffs about going down. There's some, you know, middle school kids tumping over the garbage, jumping on the cans, stuff like that. So now the cameras are back on. I'm sure Arky will keep an eye on that too. Okay. I need to ask you a question, Tim. I got a
Me?
yeah.
Oh,
I got
okay.
an email from Levi. I'm not sure what it is. What's the MVRT?
MVRT.
Yeah.
Missisquoi Valley Rail Trail.
Well, I got this letter.
I know, and they want to get rid of Bill,
Yes,
and
but
she's only responding because she's the town representative on the rail trail,
Right.
and so they're telling her at regional planning that they don't have the resources to remove him from there. And I know you've been working on it, and your response was, why is this economic development? But it isn't.
Because she's the representative.
She's the representative of the
well, the whole
rail trail.
thing is, the homeless man is living on state property,
Right.
not Richford property.
Exactly.
To me, that's their problem.
It absolutely
I
is.
have had the police went there. He spent a night in jail. He can live. This is a free country. I mean, he's not. He
I
hasn't
agree.
done anything to anybody. People don't like him on the rail trail. Well, I know. I wish he could go
I
somewhere
don't
else.
like some of the people I see on the rail trail either.
Or the street,
you know.
but it's like they've offered him. They've had social services in. He does not want to go to a shelter. He wants to ride his bike around. He wants to sit there. I've done all we can do.
Right. I
So
don't think
to
the
me,
town has
the rail
any
trail wants to
responsibility.
do something about it.
Yeah, they're responsible for it.
Yeah, but then I that's why I asked him, why are you involved? But now I know.
Okay.
Answered. Asked, answered. Homestead tax rate came in. Your homestead tax rate is calculated from your city, town, voter approved per pupil spending and its common level of appraisal, CLA. For more information on how tax rates are determined, see somebody. Okay. Your non-homestead tax rate to be assessed, 1,004. Do this for me. I don't get it. Down the second, third paragraph. 1,4.
The non-homestead property previously called non-residential is any property which is not homestead property. And that rate is $1.43.
Right.
The homestead tax rate for residential property, I'm sorry.
See, that's what I want you to read.
The homestead tax rate is calculated from your city, town, voter approved per pupil spending and its common level of appraisal. It ties out to the school budgets
Right.
and so forth.
Right.
And it's $1.19 for this coming year. By law, the legislative body in each municipality
Right.
shall bill each property taxpayer at the homestead or non-homestead rate as determined by the commissioner of their municipality.
So do we have to do anything? I couldn't figure
No,
out. No, they're just telling us.
when we calculate the taxes.
Right, well, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Just
know.
but
informing us.
Huh?
Right.
Just informing us.
Okay,
what-
well, I wasn't sure if we actually had to do something or not.
when would you be able to appeal this, I wonder?
Yeah.
I better check into it because if,
Do you wanna keep this or?
yeah,
I
please.
got it on my computer.
Because my property isn't commercial, hasn't been for a year, so I should be able to get the
Right,
homestead rate instead of the non-homestead
there
rate.
you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay, me too, I just needed to get it off my plate. Okay, here's a request. They want to form, a group of people want to form a Richford Recreation Committee. Now, years ago, there was a Richford, Playground Committee, yeah. And they haven't been really, the past few years, we haven't heard much from them. I think Larry Stevens was the last one I knew that they would get, oversee the playground, but this is bigger than the playground. They wanna have a recreation committee, so it would include more. So the first vote I would think we should take would be to change the name of the Richford Playground Committee to the Richford Recreation Committee, cause they're gonna encompass more than just the playground. And they,
Are there,
yeah, go
are
ahead.
there still members in the playground committee? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we haven't, for years, they haven't. When I
haven't
first
done
got on
it.
the board, I remember Larry was in charge of the playgrounds, and they bought advertising, they had people buy advertising and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
So,
for the
right.
outfield walls,
They're
yeah.
not real active, you're saying now, there's still people
We
there, but
don't
they're
even
not
know, no,
active?
we've got a new slate of officers that, or a new slate of people to vote on, but let me read what they plan to do. Okay, we'd like to request the select board consider and approve a rec committee for the town of Richford. See, I think it would be easier to change the name, because we probably have to warn it. The Richford Rec Committee would like to offer and support community activities through local fundraisers, possible grants, and support of the town. Future goals of the committee: create a diversified volunteer base to offer activities for all types of recreation, help coordinate improved conditions on athletic fields, assist in expanding the recreational activities offered at the playground, walking, rail trail, love to see sidewalks for community members to access the playground, that's in parentheses. Offer skills clinics for youth in Richford, assist with an ice rink here in town. We are asking you to approve the following people. And I'll give you this too, if you.
Thanks.
Amanda Woods, Corey Woods, Hillary Derby, Kylie Dusso, Elizabeth Martin, Michael Heeman, and Levi Irish. This committee would like the opportunity to meet, share ideas, and create meeting schedules along with a set of bylaws to operate under with the approval of the select board. Bylaws, there may already be some. That's why when I said if we change the name, we'd have to see if there are already bylaws. Then they could tweak them or change them. But they haven't met enough yet to get that far. So you have any comments or thoughts on this?
They mentioned contribution from the town, but they're not asking for any money.
I
I'm
don't know,
sure,
did they say contribution?
A backing.
yeah. Well, I think, I saw this letter last week, and
Okay.
so I think that
I'll support it.
they should deal with it like on the appropriations list, have the voters vote in money for them.
Yeah, but they're not
They
asking
can
for
certainly
it now.
create themselves, but, if they want $2,500 a year or something,
See, I'm not sure if when they had the Richford Playground Committee, if they gave money or not. I gotta go look back in the books to see
I
if
think
there was.
Matters how involved they get and what they've got in their
What they
sites and what they
Yeah.
wanna do, I guess.
well, they got so much, they got a lot of stuff now, but it was through grants of the
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
And I think it's a great idea.
Right, and I think one of us, and
more people
probably,
involved, get-
Yep.
I would say, I hate taking anything else on, but since I'm in charge of the parks and playgrounds, that they should at least report to one of us, so we can report to the board, then
Yes.
sounds like, that would be where they'd report more so than anywhere else.
Well, if they got big changes, something we oughta.
Well, yeah, we need to
be
approve it as a
aware,
board, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I worry about the money always, but
Yeah.
Kylie be the treasurer, she's town clerk, but I always worry when people are out there saying the town, they're raising money for the town, and then but
Yeah.
being the town clerk, I think we'd be safe having
Right.
Well,
this,
Seems so.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not participating in the bake sale, so, or the car wash, or the,
Well,
what fundraisers
But, you know,
they're having. I don't know.
see
I,
some kids in there too, some teens.
I mentioned that, I said, how
Did
about
you?
having having a boy and a girl,
Yeah.
and
For
have
some-
them just,
If nothing more than input.
right, they don't have to vote,
Right.
so I'll mention that,
yeah.
because I thought that was a good one.
And I think that's.
They know what they want.
It's a pretty diverse list anyway. I mean, you got some people that aren't recreationally driven on there. Liz Martin.
Right, that's why I asked.
Mike Heeman. Well, he is some, he's been a coach.
Mike's
Yeah.
a coach, yeah.
Yeah.
Love sports.
Well, who you're gonna get on a recreation committee, you're gonna get people that.
Love sports and
Recreate.
And not just sports, I mean, this includes
kinds
the
of-
kayaks.
Oh, yeah, it's all this stuff.
A
all this
biking
stuff.
trail.
Biking. I'm gonna write a grant to try to get us a trail behind the, I gotta talk to Scott about it first.
Oh,
Cause it involved
they
me
have
doing some
one?
work.
Don't they have, didn't the library say they did something
Well, it's
there?
not a good,
Good
I was
one.
thinking horseback,
Oh,
walking, having some, like, you think of the things that, your nephew does, the carvings.
carving?
Have them on some of the trees through the trail, have some story stuff, places to sit, you know.
Mhm.
And I was thinking behind the playground, because all those woods are just unused up there.
Right.
They're only used by great big buzzards. My God, the birds up there.
The
Whoa.
turkey hawk, turkey.
The turkey hawk, they got
Yeah.
wingspans about 20 feet. So anyway, what do you want to do with any things you want me to present to her? They haven't,
I think the idea of a couple of,
They just
Kids
want our
on it is
approval,
good.
don't
Yeah.
they, with, yeah, I think a
Yeah.
couple kids.
I approve and they should, I think
I'm gonna
they
say
should.
the kid, we all thought the kids would be.
and they
a good
need to
idea.
respond to
They'll
someone
work
on
from
this
there.
board.
They need to respond, yeah, and I
And-
mentioned that to her in my email back
Yeah,
to her.
okay. And, I don't know, I mean, you wanna give them the latitude to say, we have to verify the bylaws.
Verify my house.
Okay.
If there are any, if
Yeah,
not, they'll
right.
make up some new ones.
Right.
But we should be in on that
Yeah,
too.
changing the
Absolutely.
names.
Yeah,
Changing
play,
the names
playground
always be written
committee
down.
to recreation committee.
Right,
And, I think the slate of people
they sound good to me.
is fine without,
Yeah.
you know, it's tough to get people to volunteer these days for
Yeah,
anything.
And they're interested in it. You're gonna get people that are interested in
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
everyone's
And they're all good
on a
people,
coach
like,
and
They're all
stuff.
good people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
good people, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, fine. So what do you wanna do? Any other things you want me to present to her tomorrow, or?
Just give her the information and,
But are we gonna approve it, or are we gonna make a motion?
I'll approve.
I'll approve
We'll
it.
approve it, okay.
Make
Wow.
a motion to,
who, okay.
Appoint and you can list the names of these people.
To
You want me to, well, no, I got.
reenact the rec crew or the
or
playground.
do we wanna change the name of
I have
the,
two separate ones.
start out with the
Okay.
playground committee and change it to,
Make a motion to change the name.
from the playground committee to the recreational committee?
Yep,
Right.
I second it. All those in favor?
And then
Aye.
Aye.
add these people listed.
And then you make a motion for.
And I'll read the names for you. Okay, for the committee to consist of Amanda Woods. I can't.
I can make
You
a
can-
photocopy of that for you when
You can do the whole slate,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You
fine.
know, all at once. No, I
Yeah.
am. I'm just reading you the
Yeah.
names so you can write them down. Or do you?
I can make a photocopy of that after you move if you want.
If we're gonna
After.
move on everything, I,
just give them the paper.
just give me the paper.
Do it.
Her notes are on the top though, she may.
Yeah,
That's
I got-
okay,
that's
she's
why-
getting it back.
I always write on the thing that I'm doing.
So make a motion to approve Amanda Woods, Corey Woods, Hillary Derby, Kylie Duso, Elizabeth Martin, Michael Heeman, and Levi Irish to the committee of the recreational.
I'll second it.
Recreation committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Sounds good. Ambulance update, we got anything going on
Are
there?
we gonna say
Oh,
that
sorry.
we would like them to, expand the committee to include two younger
Let's
people?
talk about it with them.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
We can always add that.
yep, okay.
You have anything you wanna talk about, either one of you with ambulance?
We've got two people that we have not been able to get signed paperwork for the EMT class, we're still working on.
Yep.
They have the paperwork, it's a matter of just getting them to do it. So,
Is that very committed if you're not?
I don't know,
I've talked to him two or
Thank you.
three times
Oh,
now,
thank you.
I've talked to them too, so.
and he's talked to him a couple of times.
Well, if they're not, if they're reluctant to fill it out, do we?
But
They're still taking the
they're
class,
still
but
taking
they're
the
not.
class, they're doing the class, they're all doing well.
What we're being told, yes, they're doing well, they just haven't made that commitment to the town, that the town's picking up the cost and,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
so.
So we do have a couple that have committed though, right?
One person has signed. We have three people, two of them have not signed
Yep.
yet. So,
I'll go back and see him again.
So what happens if they take this course,
Yeah.
They pay for it.
okay? And
If they don't
they're, and
commit
they're
to us,
aware
we
of
don't
that?
pay.
Mm-hmm. I directly told him that, or the class ends.
Yeah.
There. All right, Gully.
okay,
I'm usually good for 3 times, after that I'm pretty much out of it.
Uh-huh.
other than
Turn
that,
into-
the ambulance seems to be running really good right now.
Well,
It's very
We're
smooth.
doing a lot of covering too.
Yeah.
Won't
Yes.
bring that up in public, but
We'll just, yeah, we've made a lot of calls out of town to help out with other
Yeah, yeah.
organizations.
Yep.
So,
and I wish we could,
Thank you.
yeah, wish we could get paid. Okay, anything else about the ambulance? You all good?
Well, the only thing is we approved a new ambulance at some point. We need to figure out how
We're gonna pay for it.
we want to pay for this.
Well, why don't you talk to Macy, right? Are you in talks with her about, looking for a grant?
We talked to her briefly, but it didn't sound like that was gonna, you know,
It's not top of the list right
yeah.
now.
Where are we gonna find the money?
I'm thinking that we're gonna have to comb through the budget, see what we're gonna have extra, and we believe we're going to have a surplus and go from there. My thoughts is to get with services where we can lease this ambulance for payment and pay it off.
3 years and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
Well,
like we do
but-
with the town.
We didn't actually approve the purchase.
No, we
We
didn't.
approved to
Hold
hold
it.
the ambulance.
Yes.
but we have to
Right.
make our minds up
So-
by September, so we can't
Right.
just sit
Right.
around saying, keep talking about it.
So
We
we're
need
in
to do
July
something.
now, and August will go by quick too,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, so.
So if we pull together the budget and see where there might be some extra money at this point in time and see
So it
what
was
we can come up with.
150,000, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, a little over 150.
So it would be 50 a year then, would that be?
Mhm.
I know there's, I don't know what you guys use for lease companies, but I know there's a lease company that will do a 5-year. I know we've used them at Lamoille.
5 year?
That won't hurt
5
so
year.
much.
5-year, and by the
It
time
wouldn't-
that one will be ready to be replaced, you just roll into a new rig again.
Well, 5 years, we keep them longer than that.
No,
So-
usually every 5 years or usually
Really?
our
That's the
replacement
normal,
used
that's
to
what we're
be.
supposed to,
It's
that's
Right,
why.
the
that's why
second one by the time we
Okay,
get
but
rid
what's
of.
the interest on that if we go 5 years? So you
I
need to
don't
look
know.
at that. You need
Right.
to look at that.
You know-
The town truck was like 2.7.
Yeah,
We just did, I think.
yeah.
How many years was that?
3,
4, I think.
4.
4.
Is that
So
200?
that still wouldn't be that bad either.
No.
4 would be better than 3.
No, if
We
we
did
just-
have one offer back, not this year, but in the years past, where they would defer the first year's payments even. That's what would fall
That
in
would
for
really-
this, for your problem, you know, we could,
Yeah, defer
you
it.
can get it financed
Budgeted.
and they defer the payment, you don't even have a payment the first year, but it goes
sure they'd defer
further in the
it.
end.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and we paid off, we did something this year, didn't we pay one because we had the leftover money? So we
Yes.
paid the payment we didn't have to pay just to get
Right,
ahead?
To get
Yeah,
it out
that
of the
could
way.
happen.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, that could.
that's the thought, you know,
Yeah.
you definitely gotta have something, but.
Who
We
should
do.
follow up on the finance options?
Kylie, right?
She called around on the truck one, you know, they offered
I
a
know.
company and I think she went with a company they offered, but she did check with others.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, check with a
So
couple.
can we ask Kylie to look into,
Yeah,
Finance
Finance.
options.
And then see if we can defer the first year possibly.
Well, even
if
if we
that,
don't
Oh,
get
if
off
that
the
I'll
option's out
include
I
it,
there.
know
yeah.
that was an option at
Yeah.
one point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, it might not
Then if
stand
we-
now, that's,
Right.
Right, and
Right.
then if we can pay it, we would, but,
Right.
okay.
so who's gonna talk to Kylie?
I can talk to her tomorrow.
Okay,
You want me to talk to her tomorrow?
If you can, what time do you plan on it?
I can be here whenever. If
Okay.
you get out at 4, I'll be here at 4. If you wanna get out at 2, 2:30, I can be here at that time.
I will be out at 4. I'll set a
Okay.
reminder to meet you
Okay,
at,
I'll come down at 4.
okay.
That works.
so do you want me not to mention it then? Wait till 4?
If you wanna give her a heads up,
I was gonna say, you want me to give her a heads up, so
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
she can look,
Yeah.
okay.
And we'll come down and talk to her at 4, around 4.
okay.
Okay, is there any other, I already told you about the FNSU
Right.
contract. Anything else?
I get a couple of things, just, those of you that live in the special district, have received your trash bill with the,
I haven't opened it yet.
survey letter. There's a survey letter included as to how you'd like the town to progress on trash. It's for informational purposes only. I've fielded a number of calls and questions, and I have to be very vague because nothing's etched in granite yet in terms of the costs and new contracts and things like that, but just so that you're aware it's out there. And if you have a preference, return it. You know, it's important. And last week, I got a call, maybe it was the week before last, from the Turcots, that people were shooting up at
There's
the
a
old
lot of
gravel pit.
Turcots, which ones do you mean?
Danny Turcott,
Okay.
what's her name?
Debbie?
Debbie, the one
Clark
that
or-
doesn't care for me.
She the
you can
only
put it
one?
on there.
Is she the only one in town? I don't care.
What's that? No, I mean, she wouldn't come to vote at the
Oh, yeah,
polling
'cause you were
place because
there.
I was working.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
So she took an absentee ballot.
So they called you for this?
Well, no, because it was a police issue. They were shooting up at the gravel pit up
Right.
there. tried to contact the police, no, there's nobody around.
But there's no
They come on
law
later, and so I just took a drive up there, and nobody was around. And as I was coming out of the road from there, Danny Turcott drove by, so I'm sure he went home and told his wife, or I assume. But there is no,
There's no ordinance against shooting firearms in the town. We tried that.
okay, is that,
We can revisit it
is
because
that
I have the
considered the
firearms
village
policy.
or the town?
It's village. There's no
No,
ordinance
it's
against
town.
it.
Town, okay, so
Yeah.
there's no ordinance in the town, there's an ordinance in the village?
No, there isn't.
Not at all.
None.
Really? Okay,
We tried to do it a few years ago. One of the board members was adamantly against it. Chris we have the ordinance. It's in my desk.
okay, all right,
And so we never pursued it.
Okay.
But it's a new time if you wanna,
that's fine, I just wanted to report the incident, that's all.
I've got it if you want me to bring it to the next meeting, if you wanna discuss the
Well,
firearms.
no, I don't have an issue with it, but
I don't either.
they said,
But that's the gravel
you
pits
know.
in the town too, right?
Most of the gravel pits, not even the towns, most of it's Mark, St. Pierre's.
yeah, we get this little square
Yeah,
right in the
it's just
middle
a
of this
square in the
big
middle
thing.
of the thing, and
Yeah,
most of the square is on a bank, which
yeah.
So
We don't
John
do anything
remembers when
with
we tried to do it because they were shooting in front of your house. And, yeah, and so Chris was the police commissioner, and he got a whole ordinance and I can bring it.
Okay, no, that's fine, I just
Well,
wanted to report it in
Yeah.
case anybody heard anything, because, well, I reported it before, and you didn't do anything about it.
But I never got a report from them, but,
she emailed me, or
Oh, she
my
did?
wife, or whatever, yeah. I'm aware of it.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
and that's all I know.
Any other business? Anybody?
I'd
Now's
like to
the
move
time.
to adjourn so I can go watch the Canadians lose the Stanley Cup tonight.
I must be, I could think of something. Anybody in the?
That's all right, it's a long game.
Okay. Haven't eaten dinner yet. Okay, but this is it. I mean, we won't be meeting for 2 weeks, so if you got anything else, we're all set.
I don't think we
Calendar.
do.
2 weeks, so I will not be at the next meeting because I'm on
Look at
vacation.
the sidewalk in front of my house.
Oh, yeah.
You better put it on the calendar.
My beers, what else
He
we
doesn't
do.
have to
Pull
take
them
a
out of
drug test.
there, I guess, so you can do something.
Yeah,
A
but
little better with your driveway.
19th, yes.
Oh, 19th.
I don't know, we're working on
Yeah, I
sidewalks
have to work,
presently. We're
Thank
doing
you.
some down on North
Okay,
Avenue.
meeting's adjourned.
I give up my
Now,
vacation so you
Kirby.
go on vacation.